3 boss cell difficulty. Take 2. Because through a process that I can only describe as whoops, my bad, I recorded the original version of this episode at extremely low resolution. It is unwatchable. So I'm going to be doing that same run again, but that does mean that there are already a lot of items unlocked, there's already a lot of mutations unlocked, and worst of all, the 4th boss cell is already unlocked. Maybe I'll put up the original episode unlisted and have a link to it in the description and the comment section, but trust me when I say that this is going to be the better alternative, because oof, ooh boy, it's not great. So anyway, last time I did 2 boss cell difficulty on normal mode. Maybe not the best idea. It is because, hey, even having a survival run, and a survival run with a really great colorless item, it was very RNG dependent, and sure, that might be the best way that you want to do normal mode if you're going to be doing that, but we have custom mode. We have better ways to craft runs, and for boss cell 3, I think that I'm going to be pulling out the best way that I know of. A damage over time run. So anything that does bleed, anything that does fire, anything that does poison, I'm going to be unlocking right now. Even though the plan is to be using a brutality focused run, I don't really want to have everything. I don't really want to once again have the less than 20 items unlocked. And besides, who knows? Maybe like the type of run that I normally go with is going to pale in comparison to potentially getting like some colorless items when it comes to using like double crossbow-matic, sinew slicer, maybe like a colorless pyrotechnics. And I just want to see how that goes. Otherwise, I'm also going to pull up some of these bombs here, in addition to like oil and fire, and even like, let's say, swarm. Sure, we might have seen last time that getting a causes enemies to bleed or poisons enemies is not the best type of way to get damage over time as an FX, but you'll be able to get enough points of that going on with swarm that it could still be worth taking. And then I guess corrosive cloud, not my favorite item, but it's here. And then to top it all off, tonic and vampirism, so that if I do kind of get myself into a bad scrape, tonic at high levels can get a pretty common affix that is just heals a flat 15%, giving me like 20% healed at endgame if I just happen to find one of these things, even if I don't have a survival run going on. Same thing with vampirism, but thankfully this one does also, 1, do damage over time, and 2, the heals 5% I believe is a flat thing, so even if I was using tactics, I could still get a good amount of usage out of this. And then the thing to make this run, work together, to really get the most out of damage over time is the Hokuto's bow. That mark, the increased damage that you get on that, it does work with damage over time, and as they say in Darkest Dungeon, great is the blade that cuts on its own, and that's the exact, and this is the way to sharpen that blade. Additionally, I'm also going to unlock the wolf trap. Not going to be getting too much use out of it in this run if I don't get a colorless version of it, but if you can combine those two things together, the mark and the increased damage from this, that's just an incredible amount of DPS that you can get out of just like even a basic like throwing knife. And the throwing knife, the blood sword, and everything might still work out pretty well. The plan here, and the only thing that you really need to make this a great run, is the alchemic carbine. Alchemic carbine gives you huge range. It gives you lingering poison that can affect a huge group of enemies. And just overall, it's very powerful poison. But if I get like some of the really good bleed affixes, bleed and poison, getting a 2-for-1 deal on the damage over time, or getting like bleed propagation, making it so that the mark, which also spreads, can kill like entire screens at once, or get something like really great like a colorless pyrotechnics. Oil is going to make sure that damage over time stays around for a very long time and is more powerful too. It's like that might be more worthwhile than just maybe sticking with an early version of the alchemic carbine. Either way, it's not even all that big of a deal to have all of these items unlocked at once, because I do now have the merchandise categories and reroll unlocked, so that shops should be able to give me what I want as long as I got enough money. At least that's the plan. Otherwise, it is 3 boss cell difficulty. 3 boss cell difficulty does introduce a couple new enemies. It introduces some very, very like frustratingly dense groups of enemies. You'll notice that they're getting real jam-packed in here now. And just in general, they're also going to be doing more damage. They're going to be they're going to have higher health. They're going to be doing more damage. It's going to be a problem overall. But I do think the damage over time should be totally fine. It should make sure that I am just totally okay the entire time here. Hopefully. This is also a very good start, too, with the oil mark, the torch here. Torch is a nice fast item that can really get a lot of stacks of fire on a single enemy. No, this will work out pretty well. And you're really just having the Hokuto's bow from the very beginning, I think, is going to make for a pretty good run. It should be a pretty nice and simple type of 3 boss cell difficulty, which I really need after messing up that previous thing. Also, one of the great things is that having melee means that I can get some very good types of... There we are. Ooh, good. Yeah, that's working out great already. It's like, look at that. Look at the mark go just killing entire groups of enemies. Because the oil is just spread everywhere. I don't know if I'm going to be getting too much usage out of shields. I have them unlocked because, hey, who knows? Maybe like a fire grenade and an oil grenade. With that sort of combination, I don't even need to have like some sort of main hand dealing damage like that. Potentially. I don't know. I'm just keeping it open, and I'm even keeping stuff like having the rampart open because that's another thing that works pretty separately from the whole... The invincibility works separately from the scaling, so it's not even all that big of a deal if you wanted to try to get that to work. And that is one of the best things in the game, so if I just get like a good flamethrower turret, I can keep myself invincible the entire time. I mean, really, the most powerful thing about this build is that the damage over time is going to be doing all the work. As soon as you get the stacks on there, and it's very, very easy to do that with any sort of like ranged weapon. Ah, there's a rampager. That enemy is fast, and it is aggressive. And it does also drop a very nice mutation, adrenaline, but I don't know how much usage I'm going to be getting out of that. Well, anyway, I mean, like, yeah, you can just focus entirely on dodging around and not even worry about like, say, doing damage to your enemies, because they're just going to be taking damage by existing with all the fire and blood and poison that's going to be all around them all the time. It is a great build, and it might seem a little bit slow right now, but by end game, and especially if I can keep up on getting like some very good, you know what, sure, and especially if I can keep up on getting some very, very good upgrades to my Hokuto's bow, it's like you'll see a real magical run start to form. At least that's what I can only hope. All right, there's being 3 cell difficulty. I think I am going to start to build up more for like some defensive type of stuff. You do get like Soldier's Resistance by endgame does give you an increase of 25% to your HP, which is nice, and that does mean that you can still eat food, unlike when you take Dead Inside, for example. Like Disengagement also going to be very helpful. And if I really wanted to go for like the melee route, both Frenzy and Adrenaline can be very, very powerful by endgame. Though I don't... You know, there are like regen-focused runs that you can make work for you. I know famously some people will take the Scythe Claw weapon and just use the ridiculously huge DPS you get out of that weapon to like manage to regen themselves up instantaneously, even though that's a survival scaling weapon. The DPS is just that good for that. You get like can't be interrupted by an enemy attack. You get like just you know, any sort of huge DPS increases, and you don't even if you're just healing for a fraction of the amount that you would if you were building a brutality based run, you can get back up to full health almost instantaneously. Well, I could actually take either of these. I think this is definitely the type of build that I want to go for eventually. So this is the best type of build, I think. It's so much range. You get so much range and so much like crowd killing potential. It's amazing. But yeah, like Scythe Claw can work for that. There's also stuff like The Spite Sword, which gets huge damage increase if you can take damage. And that is probably going to actually be the run that I'm going to take in the 4-cell mode, because it's also got some other fun quirks along with like amazing regen if you use Frenzy or Adrenaline along with that. Yeah, this is definitely the point in the game that you want to start like taking some shenanigans types of builds, because those can be very effective, whether it's damage over time, super regen, or just like extreme glass cannon is something that can work out very effectively in your favor. There are also just powerful types of builds that you can do here, whether it's using the Scythe Claw, which even outside of trying to go for some weird regen builds does also just do a lot of damage, period. Enough said on that. And if you get like cannot be interrupted by enemy attacks, if you get enough health, if you get like just a huge amount of... I should actually take him out here, if I'm right. Very close. I'm gonna need just a couple more points of brutality. I should be able to make the magic start to happen. Ooh, well, hey, if I wanted to go for full-on cheese mode, do it. There it is. It is amazing. This thing, it's not a common affix, but it is incredible. Look at this. You don't even have like the bit where when you're running into enemies, they have like a little bit of resistance to them. You can just walk directly through them. They don't even try to attack you. Now, that does change whenever you interact with anything. So, for example, grabbing the scroll is going to mean that I am going to, go back to being visible. But all you gotta do is just wait a couple seconds and, yeah, you can just waltz through every single area. If you can find that, it is extraordinarily powerful. It is just absolutely ridiculous. And I probably won't be taking this... Nah, screw it. I want as many advantages. I want a good run after I lost that previous one. Why not? Invisibility is just... And it's like, it doesn't have... It doesn't like have any sort of limitation to it. You just walk by everything. And there are the scroll fragments, which is talked about back when I was changing difficulty before. You'll notice like a couple... just kind of like scattered around a bunch of little monoliths that have cells on them, basically. Looking a lot like the cell doors around here. And if they have 3 cells on them, then you're going to start to get fragments in this mode. Collect 4 of them, and you'll be able to get a power scroll. And that's great. I mean, it is just extra stats to make your life easier. I would never, ever complain about that, let me tell you. I mean, you also don't have to, like, curse yourself or anything to get it. And then I could right now... Good. I could right now go for... One of the other great things about Hokuto's bows is a nice fast bow for taking out, like, flying enemies. Even if it only does a very small amount of damage on enemies, you can still utilize it very well to... I got hit anyway, and there goes my 60 kills. Oh boy. You can still utilize it very well to, get out of here. I want stats right now. Still utilize very well to just take down low health enemies. Just outrange enemies. Just outrange enemies as much as you possibly can. It's so effective. This is such a good build. I cannot say enough good stuff about it, to be honest. And you'll only see it getting more powerful with time. Because even like right now, I'm taking out enemies extremely quickly. You can just make... I will say this though. You do really... I would really recommend taking like a bomb or something here, just because this can be... You do have to wait for enemies to actually get the damage over time to be... for them to be affected by the damage over time. So... yeah, there's like a 4-cell thing. Scroll fragments would appear on there. So make sure that you have like something that can instantaneously attack like a bomb, and you'll be golden. Just something so that you're not getting exploded upon by the many kamikaze bats that you're going to be encountering throughout the course of the run. Aside from that, just shoot everything from a huge distance. There's no reason not to. All right, anything else that I'm looking at before I start to leave? Because one of the other things I did do in the previous run, but there's not really too much of a point to do now, but I will still do anyway, is... now that I have 3 boss cell open, the cell doors have made it so that new routes have appeared. I mean, with additionally the actually no. Looks like it's been entirely taken out of the game. Well, okay, I guess by the end game I'm gonna have to do some editing, because normally what I was going to do is try to go get the gardener's keys and go for like some new routes, but I guess that's not possible. Maybe I'm gonna keep a couple vestiges from the previous episode still in here, just because, well, despite being very, very low res, stuff like the showcase of all the new items that I unlocked is not going to be that difficult to watch. I can only hope. Maybe, well, stuff like unlocking that one blueprint that I wanted to is not going to really be possible here. Well, anyway, let's take Soldier's Resistance. Can still eat food, but still get a pretty big boost in health. Defensive mutations are all... I'm going into defensive mutations as much as I possibly can. You can get some good stuff like combo. Killing an enemy gives you a bonus, but gives you like a DPS bonus, and the DPS on the Alchemic Carbine is 182, and then I get 202 for poison. Doesn't affect the poison, but does affect that 182, putting it up to like 1,000 DPS if you're lucky, just with the initial hit from this weapon. If you didn't think you were taking out enemies fast enough before, oh boy, you're definitely going to be doing it now. Yep, I see you there. Do hope that I can get something like a flamethrower turret in the future, because that is, it's pretty easy to get like turrets deploy. Oil, and that's more different types of damage that I can have added to the pile, giving me even more. There's no enemies down there, okay. Giving me even more damage out of my Hokuto's bow. It's pretty great. Oh, it just ran into the thing. Whatever, that's fine. Okay. Curse is still gonna be frightening, but it's a very safe type of build. This is a very safe type of build, and that's good, especially when I can't really see my enemies around here. This is definitely when I would start recommending really taking a lot of... taking every advantage to get all the curse chests that you possibly can, and that does mean dealing with curses. But the stats are going to be very helpful, especially if you don't have like all the forge upgrades that you can possibly get unlocked. Much like I did in the previous attempt here at making this episode, I'm probably also going to show off, like... Yeah? Is it much more powerful? It's a lot more powerful. I'm probably also going to show off, like, the cell grinding route that I do, so maybe you can at least, like, make it mostly possible to get up to the same level of... Gotcha. To get up to the same level of, like, forge grinding in a relatively little time, but... I can also understand if you don't want to grind that much, too. Hammer. Please, Hammer, don't hurt me. Oh, wait, you're already dead. As the Hokuto's bow would say, and does say in its description when you're unlocking it from the collector. Oh, nice. Ah, you know what? Never mind. Forget about it. We got a legendary version of the Hokuto's bow. That's a lot of extra stats, and that's also some sort of special affix that you can get on there. Which, let me tell you, the Hokuto's bow really does take well to special affixes. Why? Because some of the special affixes, like causes an enemy to be poisoned, or causes an enemy to release a cloud of, causes the arrow, the projectile, to release a cloud of poison, pretty much is like having an alchemic carbine combined with the Hokuto's bow. It's the best of both worlds in one thing. And I can open myself up to going and getting like a blood sword or something instead. And legendary items, lowered reroll costs, always has a star affix on it. Couldn't ask for anything better. Even Pierce all enemies is actually very helpful, so that I don't have to wait for the mark to For the mark to propagate, I can just have it... I can just instantly hit a bunch of enemies in the line already. It also is going to be able to take out some of the annoying ranged enemies pretty easily, too. That Firebird luck is coming in once again. And, you know, unlike colorless items, that could have been anything. I think it is, like, more likely to be something that you... Do I want to? Because Rampart plus this? No, let's... No. I still want to go for more DPS and not, like, worry about a whole lot of... making sure that I have, like, good stuff otherwise. No, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. However, what do you got? Okay. That's what I was talking about. Toxic Cloud? Bleed? What an amazing set of items. But that's exactly what I was hoping for when I started this out. So, yeah, we're looking great right now. Oh yeah, I was saying that, like, the 3 boss cell does have... Having 3 boss cell does mean that you can now, when you get to the ramparts, take your choice of going into the Insufferable Crypt, which is locked behind a 3-cell door, and going directly to the concierge, which means that you don't really need to do a lot to fight whatever boss that you want to, starting at the very beginning of the game, and that's pretty nice. Okay, flames, poison, piercing. This is looking pretty good. I think I am probably going to be taking double ammo, though, to make sure that I'm not going to be running out of this too quickly. Don't really have anything. No, the oil grenade is giving me arrows. Come back. Well, this isn't quite the exact sort of traditional type of build that you would have for damage over time, but it is one that is probably going to work out super well. Use it like a huge distance. These items also have, like, great tracking on them, as you can see right there, for example. Yoink. Yeah, this is looking nice. Yeah, I do need to actually have this thing, like, be near the floor to light up the oil on fire, but once it happens, that's good. Yeah, no, this is a great run right now. Not enough to make me think, hey, maybe it's a good thing that I lost that previous episode, but it's still pretty great. All of that progress made. Why did I have to try to figure out how to close? Why did I have to try to figure out how to record footage from the original Game Boy right now when I'm doing this series? What a bad idea on my part. Alright, enough of that. The stomp attack has been buffed up quite a bit. Maybe the poison cloud is not doing as much damage as I was expecting. Oh well, I can always switch up to something else in the future. Sure, why not? But yeah, it is unfortunate, but hey, at least it's a pretty good run nonetheless. Why was I trying to record Game Boy footage? I wanted to play Kirby's Dream Land 2 for the channel. Why Kirby's Dream Land 2? Because that's the one I have. Look, it's all a lot of very complicated reasonings, machinations that are happening in my brain at any point in time. But, yeah. Oh well. Look, it's fixed now. That's the most important bit. What do I even want here? I don't know. Maybe just get the powerful grenade. Burning oil is pretty easy to come by right now. Though, maybe just grabbing, like, the oil and fire would also be a good combination. I also do think that I might want to just switch back over to getting the Alchemic Carbine again, leaving it at that, but this is definitely going to work pretty well for right now. If only the knife had pierce all enemies, that would also help out a lot too. There is another new type of enemy, the Bomber. Another enemy much like the Rampager that will chase you around. It has a jetpack, it can fly. Yeah, they had jetpack at this point in time in this pseudo-medieval type of universe. I don't know, but it's like they're annoying and they're gonna only start to become more populous with time. Yeah, this is not doing as much damage as I was hoping. I think I am going to be switching it out for something else. Yeah, you know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Alright, in the meantime, really want to try to find some way to get more brutality. If everything was lining up perfectly, I could potentially be getting like 15 plus brutality right now. And you can even get like on the highest levels of difficulty up to something like 20 before you even get to the first boss. Well, didn't really work out too well now, did it? Is there anything else here to get? Ah, Lord. It's mostly, oh no, we're all dead. And it's true, they are. Luckily, I am able to continue to just be an immortal blob man that possesses all of these dead guys that happen to be around here. Never anyone that gets them out, though, which is unfortunate. Elites, sure. That's cells, that is... this is... I hate the crystal ones, though. Although, from what I remember, this is actually, like, one of the few crystal guys that will continue to follow you. Out of the range of their crystal? No. Because they can teleport around? No? Okay. Oh, this one did not have a flat plus 15% heal on there, which is kind of... for some reason, I thought it did. Okay, take you down already. Nope. And, yeah, well, at least it has a point of brutality on it. I only have 12 right now. This is embarrassingly bad. Yeah, I gotta get, like, these oil grenades. I gotta get, like, my grenades, my throwing knives, even the amulet kind of in order. Getting three stats on the Hokuto's bow, of course, is still pretty worthwhile, but I can be doing better in just about every other regard. Alright, sell this. Unless it happens to be something real amazing, which I got my doubts. Can also take this and that. Do have a curse chest around here. I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to accidentally forget about that and not be able to... Nice. Took dead inside, wouldn't have had that. And not be able to get rid of that by the next area. Oh, also a fun thing with the bombers here. If I can find an area where there's not a million enemies around here. Okay, never mind then. He's dead. Damage over time. It's that powerful. And it's only going to get more powerful with time. As you start to really, like, iron out your entire build, it just gets... The damage is ludicrous. It's like Russia having 11 time zones. It's ridiculous. It's not even funny. Right. Not actually... there is something I want to show with the bombers. Basically, their whole dive bomb attack is pretty scary, but you can do some stuff with it. Let me guess, the Hokuto's bow killed him with just a single strike. I told you, it gets very powerful. Very powerful. And I still don't even have, like, the right stats that I want here. The Hokuto's bow is just doing it by itself. All right, then. I guess, you know, I can't be disappointed in some ways, but it is going to make it a little bit difficult to show off stuff here. Without a... I mean, you can see the difference between, like, the without a mark and with a mark damage I'm doing on stuff. Yeah. Fun times. Now, spreads and flammable oil. That's a very good combo when it comes to pyrotechnics, but, you know, not really one that's going to be coming up right now. Oh, well. Let's go see if I can't get the 60 kills, and... Yeah, I mean, like, not even doing bad for health right now. Yeah, no, this is going just fine, as it turns out. There's the curse chest, though. I should have been looking for that when I was kind of glancing around, trying to figure out what we got here. And it's not usually the way that you want to be climbing around here, but it's the way I did it. Can probably also get that ranked up. Oh, wait, no, I just need to go down to this. Probably also going to be focusing on getting that to the next level, and then... hopefully getting 2 points of brutality on there. That would be the ideal, but, you know. It's not like I really need it, after all. Well, here, follow the sun. What do you got? Yeah, you're very cute, aren't you? You can You can get some good DPS out of the throwing knife, but I don't know. It's not something that's guaranteed, let me tell you. All right. Curses are frustrating. Curses are difficult to deal with, but they shouldn't be too bad with this sort of build as long as I exercise even the slightest amount of caution. Yeah, that did it. That's what I'm talking about. If you are having trouble with a run, this is the weapon to be taken. Enough said, man. Oh, there's another one of those 4-cell things. Yeah, it just killed that bomber from a million miles away. I barely even need to have him on screen. And that's even like without hitting him with the poison or anything. The Hokuto's bow by itself is an incredible powerhouse. Anyway, I only need 4 more enemies, so I'm just gonna do that right now, and then we're gonna go teach the concierge a lesson he shan't forget soon. Good. And it's like, this isn't even using the poison that I was talking about. This is using this is using a fire-based build. Because any sort of damage over time. It's like, hey, they're all pretty effective. But you know, you do get a lot of good stuff going out of oil and fire. It's just this will take you through all higher cell difficulties. Like, no problem at all. This is not just like a 3-boss cell thing. This is an every difficulty thing. All right, you know what? Yeah. You know, just try to re-roll that to get like throws something to give me oil somewhere, and then that's it. That's the ball game. All right, but first off, I don't really need though. There you go. I mean, the affixes don't matter too much for the alchemic carbine. Like, leaving Trail of Flames is good, but that's not really all that relevant because I got the Hokuto's bow. Then 15 extra damage, burns when destroyed. Well, that actually just makes sense. But yeah. All right, let's switch out some stuff here. I just think I still want YOLO, but also I will take, God, I don't know. Tainted Flask can be good. By the time you get to end game, it's only 4 elite enemies you need to kill to get that flask charge, which when you have so little healing can be useful. Soldier's Resistance, I think, is just good. It's just a good thing to have. And then maybe I will just go for Dead Inside. Nah, let's take Disengagement. Disengagement is also another great defensive type of thing. This lets you disengage really easily, as the name would imply, and can save you a lot, especially if you are working with very little health. Something to remember. All right. And there he goes. Now that I am a little bit higher up as far as... Now that I am a little bit like more higher up like in the difficulties, I do think he's going to be like skipping a few of his phases and going into like jumping faster, which is good for me getting legendary items. Ah, okay, that didn't quite work out in the way I wanted it to, but it worked out well enough anyway. Good. If I'm lucky, I can get another legendary item coming up here, and that can really change things up for the better. In the previous run I did, I got 2 different double crossbow matics that were colorless and a legendary one, respectively. I can make that sort of thing happen again. Wouldn't be opposed to it. I'm just saying. All right, don't really need Fire Blast. But like I said, you know, I do have this just for like a little bit of emergency healing. Back up to 100% now. That's great. It is a good pick, especially for high cell difficulties, just to have something that you might occasionally find. 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Well, fair enough. I mean, it could be good, but nah. Hey, Jude. There we go. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. There's so many things to like about that. Also take 100% on poison, but I didn't really want the 2. Maybe I'll be switching that bomb out soon enough for something else. That does seem like... Sure, I do get the poison synergy and everything on there, but I can choose something a little bit different. And you know what? Since we're going to be going... Hey, if you're going to go to town to Lincoln. And to that end, there is... Now that I have the cavern opened up, there is a new route for me to be taking in the Slumbering Sanctuary. there's also a new route leading directly to the giant boss in the... I mean, look, it leads into the cavern. You know this already. I know this. We don't need to mess about pretending it's anything else. But yeah, there's also a path that leads directly into the giant's fight in the sepulcher. The sepulcher, not the slumbering sanctuary. All right. Shouldn't be too bad to really start taking these dudes out. I don't even know what I want right now. I guess that would be okay, but if I get enough money, sure, why not? In the meantime, there is another curse chest here, and curses, I feel like, are the only thing that are going to be taking me down right now. And that is why I really just want to, like, go find the switch immediately, so that I don't need to go mess around with that when I get myself cursed or something. Poison is also good for, like, enemies that have shields, because even, like, up to the final boss, who can normally block projectiles, you know, with his mighty hand, he can't block poison as much as he might try. So it's actually pretty effective. Yeah, not as good as, like, having the oil combination, I suppose, but it's still working out just fine. Like, I don't need the Hokuto's bow to be completely, you know, taking care of everything by itself, even though it can. Even though it absolutely can and will. All right, so that's the cursed treasure chest. But like I said, don't take that before you hit the switch. Unless you want to have a bad time. I'll just leave you to be taken care of by that. And be taken care of by that. Great! Maybe I should just go try to get the oil grenade again. That was actually doing a little bit more than I expected it to be. Sure. It's such a huge area that it hits, too, that if you're using anything with fire, I guess it's like... Maybe I've been undervaluing it for a while. Something to think about. Something to consider. Ah, well, that's where the heavy grenade comes in, obviously. Hey, man, come on. Well, anyway, you're dead even before anything happens, so that's good for me. Then, come on. Ah, yeah. Fair enough. I've already gotten very lucky over the course of this run anyway. You can give me some, funny nonsense. In the way that I don't get the items that I want, but that's okay. That's okay. I've already been so blessed, as I like to say a lot. A lore room down there. I'll check it out after I get rid of the, maybe I can just... Okay. I don't know. I was like worried that I was about to die there. Not unreasonably so, I would like to say, but you know. I should take him out. Powerful as blade, etc. Boy, that thing is cutting. All right, and then you know what? I can do this real easy. Because an enemy that... Ugh, no thanks. Because an enemy that gets rocks pounded on their head actually is stunned for a very, very, like, absurdly long time. You would be able to take enemies like that out extremely good, extremely quickly if you get the rocks to fall on their head. Okay. I'm really very, very worried here. Very, very hesitant about walking around here cursed, because this is a good run. And curses can end good runs very, very quickly. Sure, what do you got? Hey, I told you, it's good to have for emergency heal. And 98%, still, it's weird, I haven't gotten the flat 15% heal just yet that I was talking about. They did introduce a whole bunch of new secondary affixes in the latest update, and that is maybe messing around with my ability to get that as commonly as I know I would before. Just slow. Slow. Yeah. Oh, those sounds. Slow, slow. Just gotta do this nice and document. And sure. Why not? Nice and... Good. That'll do it. That'll do it. Okay. Okay. Let's get out of here already. Okay. Okay. Very, very worrying, but it worked out well anyway. And guys, stop throwing bombs at that thing up there. Hey, look, this is definitely the point in time that you want to start taking it slow. It is something. Much as possible and find a solution. It's smelly. And one of the other lore bits that I don't think I ever actually saw is in the cavern. You can also have, or it might be the castle actually, that you can have the crystals being described. It's kind of covered in a viscous like slime. So that might be, you know, what's making that. Valuable jewels that happen to have deadly consequences. Maybe, because like I said, they do give several different possibilities for what the malaise is exactly. And the sap that exists in the walls is, I think another thing, another lore room in the game says, well, people think it might be the sap, but you know, not really anything conclusively said. Clock tower, which I'm not going to be messing around with right now, nor would I would love to also to not mess around with those guys. That's what I'm talking about, where you want to have like a good bomb on the ready to take care of issues like that could come up otherwise. Nah, bye. I'm just gonna leave. Okay, good. Yeah, that sort of thing that can take care of those sort of issues, and that's that could have been an issue. You know, to be honest, as much damage as I'm getting out of like the Hokuto's bow, I might want to just like upgrade it at some point in time here, because you know, a more powerful mark means more powerful damage. And sure, the legendary one you can get some really amazing stuff with, but just an endgame version of the Hokuto's bow is just like as the power of Armageddon at your fingertips. Apocalyptic by itself. Even with like early versions of I almost died there. Even with like early versions of, you know, damage over time equipment, or like very weak damage over time, it's because the mark, I believe, is the thing that really gives it its powers. All right, anything else I want to do in here? I guess you know what, I can go get an upgrade for at least one of the things I'm going to be using, the alchemic carbine. So I might as well do that because, like I said, take it slow, taking it easy, baby. No need to rush. Especially if you're going to be taking some difficult routes. Damage over time does have time as one of its components. And you do well to remember that. Time, it's a valuable thing. Watch it fly by as the pendulum swings. Watch it count down to the end of the day. The clock ticks life away. It's so unreal. Okay. Into the cavern. Could have probably gone for the 60 kills, but risk-averse is the way you want to start playing it on higher self difficulty. You don't start getting the amount of healing and everything that you're used to, and that can be bad. No, I'm gonna keep my money. I can hopefully I might be able to like re-roll. If I do happen to get an improved version of the Hokuto's bow, be able to re-roll that in the future. But as it is, the cavern is, it's still pretty rough. It's still pretty difficult, and I am worried about how this is going to go. But you know, I think it still might be okay nonetheless. Just range out everything. Range out everything that you possibly can. Let the poison do the work. You don't need to get into the fray. And, you know, really make stuff... Okay. I always got to watch out for that little last hit that he loves to do there. This is what makes it so powerful. I've said that so many times before, but it's like, it bears repeating that this is easily like one of the best types of builds we have. Huh. I got hit by the, might have gotten hit by the Delman there, but I managed to roll my way away from those rocks. Cool. Right, not affected by stunning. It's a problem. The demons here, also, I believe, a new type of enemy unbefore seen in in the game are just super versions of like Inquisitors. They can fly. They can shoot out multiple fire bolts at a time. They can just be incredibly deadly. But they do go down pretty easily. I mean, if you hit them at all, even with like the Hookto's bow hit, they will very likely fall to the ground, and that's your chance. But look, it's either that or get a shield, because those things. And then in like later difficulties, they start appearing in packs of 2. Yeah, and maybe even more important than anything else, they are immune to fire. So keep that in mind if you're using like some pyrotechnics type abilities. It's not going to work out as nicely as you would like to. Yeesh. Oh, thankfully, you know, with like all the you do, despite not being the survival thing, you do get a decent amount of survival out of brutality. It's just survival that isn't as easy to like regen as, you know, taking as taking like just necromancy and let it do its filthy, disgusting business. Yeah, immune to fire, so hence why nothing happening there. There are demons. They are Delmondos, and that is only fitting that they would not be the sort to be burned. A pot of ammo. Usually enemies don't last long enough for me to actually get out of ammo. Slow. Come on now. Well, at least he appeared to not actually see me, so I guess it's fine. I don't like it. What do you got? No Hokuto's bow, and I don't really have enough money to start re-rolling stuff anyway, so yeah. I can do without it. One of the reasons why I really didn't want to go to the cavern is that maybe more than any of the other builds that I'm going to be showing in the future, this is super good at taking on a giant. Like, it's actually incredibly good because you can get all of his hands marked at the same time. You can get the eyeball marked, and then you can just focus entirely on dodging. No problem at all. It's very easy to take him down like this, and given that I'm going to need to take him down like this, I'm not going to be using this exact build, but this would be a very good one to do it with. Keep on keeping on. And you know what, this is... I got my pocket bomb here ready to be used. Might as well be using it on the demons. They're guys that are going to be more aggressive than I would like them to be. And there's the hit. Yeah, not quite as smooth as I would have liked it, but I'm alive. I'm alive, and if I see like a tonic, if I see a vampirism, I'll be totally fine. Full heal. Well, not full heal from tonic, but full heal from vampirism as long as I use it well. Easy peasy. Nope. Ugh, these guys blocking the stuff with their shield is frustrating, but hey, at least you can get rid of their shield pretty quickly. And stay at a very good distance, even in spite of that. All right. 24. It's looking pretty good. It's just, you know, you kind of need it to happen like this in the first place. It's the sort of thing that you really want to see. Like, try to get as many stats as possible. And then, you know, you take stuff like the YOLO mutation just for insurance. If things go wrong, you'll still be covered. And you'll be covered very, very well. Immediately coming back to life and also getting some... And also, like, freezing all the enemies around you. It's some good stuff. Well, I should probably check inside the cell doors because, hey, if a Hokuto's bow does appear there, I would not be opposed to taking it. I would actually be very happy about taking it. Blair. Well, again, maybe if I... There is a lot of points in time where you can just, you know, like, wait. Oh, I mean, if I had a tactics run, it could maybe work. But if I had a tactics run, I wouldn't be at 50% health. I'd be at 0% health. So, you know, pick and choose your poison. Did I already see this one? I can't even remember. Yes, he's just throwing a bunch of crystals at corpses and being like, nothing with that one. Or maybe the next one. There's a lot of stuff that reacts with the undead, you'll find out over the course of the game, over the course of a lot of the lore rooms that exist. Okay, good. Yeah, even just running into those guys will cause them to fall on the ground. So if you are working with melee, just run into them and get them to fall onto the ground. Yeah, no, it's exactly what I just said, really. Good, good. Wow. Just barely enough area for that bomb to cover to take all those dudes out. Yeah, I was kind of hoping for food. There's the food shop in this area, but being it's a pretty high level, so I'm going to be spending most of my money on that. And it's worth it, but you know. I can also understand if you wouldn't really feel the same way as far as, I'll spend that much money there for that. Getting a potion charge in here is very difficult unless you happen to find a lot of money or a lot of elites. You've been saving up the entire game buying nothing and buy a single potion charge in the cavern. Which, hey, worst comes to worst, it's a good idea, but not really one that I'd like. Not really a situation I'd like to find myself in if possible. Okay, there's like 2 more chests. I guess I might as well go see if I can't go find something in there. And hey, it's worthwhile. You get some extra stats anyway. And now that was a smooth dodge. Well, anyway, yeah, see what's up here. See if I can't get some sort of upgrade. I don't think I'm anywhere close to getting 60 kills though, right? No, not at all. And there's no time door here or anything, which is unfortunate because you can get some really great items there, but I'll take what I got. Nah, I'm not gonna spend time re-rolling that just for a 25% increase. Not worth it. Well, 100% health. See, I told you, it's a good little piece of insurance. Saw that there. That's something that I can't do anything with right now, but it is going to be useful in the future. You gotta look in the ceiling. Look in the ceiling and you might find yourself some very festive keys around. What was over here? Oh, a barnacle. Not. It's an okay turret. If I got one colorless, I'd take it, but you know, not gonna worry too much about that, really. So yeah, just keep that key in mind for later. Because it will become more important. Come on. Spending all my money, really kind of screwing around. I could have like 28 points of brutality right now. Things would be dying as soon as I looked at them. But maybe it will happen like that anyway. Same spiel that I gave last time, so not going to worry too much about it. But, yep, good. Oh, look at that damage. And if I did have like a more powerful version of the Hulk's bow, it would be even better. I do want to make that clear that it's like I have had just like utterly mad, just like a mad amount of damage output with a Hulk's bow, even more than this. And oh, come on. If that's going to be like my loss of a perfect fight, and it totally is too. Dang old crystals, always ruining my perfect fights. Yeah. Explode already. And give me this cool cursed outfit. Alright, yeah. A nice, easy type of build. And maybe, you know what, I think, since I had to, you know, hey, if you're watching both episodes, you're technically getting a 2-for-1 type of deal. Let's just go right to the final boss here. I'd recorded Dead Cells enough for the day. I can go back and record a lot more Persona. Because I know that's what everybody is really looking forward to. One hit from getting that thing. Oh well, at least I probably should have enough money now to maybe give at least one roll on the bomb. And what a roll. Also David Byrne references. It's the once in a lifetime video. You know the one. I'm sure you guys are all big Talking Heads fans like I am, right? Right? Come on. Yeah, you are. like I said, Hand of the King, very, very well countered by this type of build. He can't block poison. He can block the initial shot from it, but he can't block the poison. And there we go. Yeah, just use the thing that pierces everything. Why not? Take down those things easy enough. And one big giant slam. Watch out, because he's going to try doing that. I knew it. I knew he was going to go for one of the swings. And there you go. Perfect fight. Not even that difficult. And and like I said, I literally just focused entirely on dodging for those last couple attacks. That's the sort of thing you can expect out of this type of build. It's super good. All right, I suppose, yeah, as much as it pains me to do this, I'm gonna, the last episode's gonna, well, the last part of the episode is going to have, oh wait, no, I want to do the grinding thing. That's right, I almost completely forgot. So, yeah, I had somebody ask me last time, it's like, hey, how do you get like the legendary forge and everything up very, very quickly? And even though I am gonna be losing 40 cells for this, it's actually a very similar sort of build to the one that I was using back in the second episode, using the electric whip. And then I just, you know, shields are nice to have, and the parry shield can give me some tactics stats. Let's just use that. And then really double crossbow-matic heavy turret is all you need. Turn everything else off. You don't need anything else. Okay, I kind of bungled the first cell grinding thing. Well, here's some lore anyway that I saw, but yes, no. Let's get back into the actual run here. Electric whip for the AoE, turrets for, you know, taking care of elites and everything like that, and just run through and get as many stats as possible. It is a very simple type of run. You can hit up, like, really try to fight every... Switch those around first. Really try to fight every one of the elites that you possibly can. Maybe try to do the challenge rifts if you're really feeling like it. They do drop cells, but it doesn't really matter. Now, the big thing is just run through here as fast as possible and blitz down everything. Don't even worry about getting offsets. Just tactics. And get, like, YOLO first off if you're going to be going for the forge, or just reset after the first area if you're not going for the forge. Because either way, you can get a lot of you can get like a lot of upgrades and a lot of things unlocked just with killing 30 enemies and then running out of here alone. There are way more than 30 enemies in this area, especially with the rats now, so getting to this should be like extremely trivial. No problem at all. And the electric whip is kind of the only thing that you need. Everything else is there for stats and is there for maybe like some elite type of situation, but even then, you can still probably take care of it easy enough with your electric whip alone. And there's 30. Okay, so there, that just looking for the ending now, basically. I could go any direction that I want to, really, but I usually like to go into the promenade, because the promenade is a very straightforward, simple area, so I can manage to get through it very quickly, provided that I can find the exit to it quick enough here. Wow, I got kind of a way to go compared to most cell grinding runs, I feel like. But there it is. So there you go. 30 kills got within the first 2 minutes. That is 40 extra cells. And combined with what I picked up in the area, which is 28. That's pretty nice. And sure, whatever. I mean, I could sell some of this stuff if I was like low on cash money, but at this point in time, I would normally just go like turn everything in at the collector and then and then restart the run. Like here, like I said, if all you're going to is the collector, you can just reset the run from this point. There's like nearly 70 cells right at the very beginning, but I do want to show off, like here's, if you're going for the forge, this is kind of the route that I take. Promenade, the goal is 60, the time is 8 minutes, and it's pretty much the exact same thing. Don't worry about fighting everything. In fact, you don't even need to worry about like going underground if you don't feel like it. And frankly, I don't. So I'm just gonna run directly past here. Start just like fighting all of these dudes, which should go down pretty quickly with the amount of stats that I got from just holding on to equipment alone. Don't take curse chests. Sure, I could take a curse chest, but Why ruin the run right now by getting cursed? I have enough stats. Because all I'm going to do is I'm going to get to the first boss, I'm going to reset. And that's it. Because you don't really need to go any farther than that. You just need to get to the first boss if you're going to be upgrading the forge. And going any farther than that, to be honest, you don't get nearly... Take him down. Going anywhere past the first boss, you don't get as many cells there. And, come on. That ruined my kill count with that guy alone. You know, I could have easily taken him out if he just did not... If that guy just did not decide to be in range of one of the training dummy things. Well, it's unlikely I'm going to get to 60 kills now. Sure, with 8 minutes I could do that, but I think that... maybe I will. Maybe I will anyway, just because. Just because it's not like I'm going to be doing a lot more cell grinding on screen past this point, so... Might as well do this as easy as possible. Yeah. I mean, you do have 8 minutes. The 2 minutes is kind of... Still don't have the hook dog ball. The 2 minutes is kind of hard to achieve, like, while also getting the 30 kills if you get hit a couple times. Not so much so with the second and, you know, every area later in the game it still has a time door. It's like 20 minutes or so to get the one going into the sepulcher. As long as you're even a little bit quick about it. I mean, I already have over 30 kills right now. And if I didn't get hit at first, that would probably be very close to just being the 60. But I did, so... Don't need to. Yes, that does give you cells. And yeah, that can buff up your cell count without affecting the time. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to affect the time that you're spending going through the area in the first place. Which can sometimes be a while. Not even going to worry about that stat. My stats are still pretty good right now, too. Unless I happen to find one that's immediately in the way that I'm running. Underground area is also a pretty good source of flying enemies, which go down very quickly and trivially to the electric way. Which means, oh, come on! I was held left there. And then I went directly into the bomb because I accidentally climbed back up onto that ledge. You know what? It's not worth getting to 60 kills. To be honest, it's only 20 extra stats anyway, so it's not worth it. Grab the 2-cell door if you can find it, because that's a lot of extra cells too. And yeah, you should be on track to get like 100 more, you know, like get like a couple hundred cells into your... Great. Play a little bit better than me. That's another piece of advice. You should be on track to get several hundred cells into the forge by the end of this. I mean, I would have like what? Add whatever I'm going to be getting for this time here, plus 120, I think, by the end of this. I ended the last area with 70. I'm ending this area with 50. No, I'm ending this area with 70. That's 150 right there. And then just one more trek through this final area. Although I do think that you can probably get through the upper area a little bit easier. You just have a more... I think there's just more enemies in general if you're not going through the ramparts. I don't know. And then usually the third mutation that I like to take is something for damage so that I can get a perfect fight against the concierge easy enough. Because that is another 20 cells from the time door and another 20 cells for the... Another 20 cells for the time door, another 20 cells for the perfect fight door. And yeah, I mean, you really don't need to see this entire thing, but I can at least see how many stats I get going through this area and what like the final time is. But yeah, that's pretty much my my entire strategy when it comes to grinding out cells and dead cells. It's pretty easy, pretty painless, and it can be done with some very early equipment, especially if you want to switch out some of the turrets for something else. Oh, you know what? Here's a lore room. I'll at least show this. Great. Great and good. What, that you should be, like, burning everything? Oh, yeah, there's a little bit more of a follow-up to the sap that you found in the sanctuary. It does actually affect these bones. But why? 10 minutes in-game time, and I got the 60 kill door, I got the perfect fight, I got everything here. I don't even need to really bother with this, because I'm going to be resetting immediately after this. Well, let's at least see what the legendary item is. It's not bad. I have 2 double crossbows, which is cool. But yeah, for 135 plus another 150 or so, yeah, it's close to like 300 each time. do that 12 times, and I would be able to get... like 12 times, so just a couple hours and you'd be able to get half of the S quality forge up. It's quick. You're still gonna have to do some grinding, but I think it works out pretty well even despite that. So anyway, now we're gonna go into the... So here's where the bad resolution comes in, and look, I don't want to do it like this, but I can't unlock all of the items. And then there's going to be a little bit of lore, which will be better resolution and hopefully a little bit more bearable to watch. Oh boy, oh boy. You know what? Just forget about the thing I said with that showcase. Even if I'm just talking about some items, I cannot in good conscience put that up for a good 15 minutes. If you're really interested, I will keep I'll keep a time-stamped link to the unlisted version of that video in the comments and description, but it's not going to be appearing here. Not that it really matters. You're going to see a little bit of that later on anyway, because I did still have those bad settings for a couple of the blueprints that I recorded. So at least it's only going to be 10 seconds. And despite the fact that I am on 3-cell mode right now, I don't actually need to be here to be getting all of the many blueprints that I'm getting right now. I'm only here because in an attempt to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, I am doing some forge grinding at the same time that I'm also getting some of the blueprints. None of the items in the game actually require you to be on anything except for 0-cell mode to get. Well, everything except for a couple of them that appear in that final door past the Hand of the King. But that's a bit of an exception. That is an oddity in the game. I think that the only... Other than that, high cell difficulty is only required for a bunch of the outfits, which I did grab here. I had over like 40 different blueprints, I think, prepped up for this section. But I decided to only put in kind of like the major items. I'll leave that for next time or something. Certainly, with the amount of time that I've spent trying to record today, you can understand why I want to cut some corners at this point in time. There we go. A little bit off-center, because I guess... Well, I mean, it's no surprise that they probably just paste the item for the icon over a generic blueprint, but it's still weird to see it kind of going off of the page like that. Well, that's how you know it's magic, I guess. Doing this on 3-cell mode with a kind of suboptimal fighting build, but a more optimal farming build was not a great idea. It was not ideal. It was not a great idea either. So, yeah, I don't really know what I was thinking, especially because this is the second time that I attempted it after dying the first time. Again, I don't know what I was thinking, but, well, that's been a theme for a lot of... Yeah, there it is. Oof. Look, it's fixed now. So, in the LP game, I guess this sort of thing just kind of happens, doesn't it? You don't have enough space on your hard drive, you accidentally record in 30 frames a second rather than 60, and... Okay, this sort of thing doesn't happen very often, but it won't happen again. Oh, boy. Well, anyway, there's only a couple more... just a couple more blueprints left here. And I do think for the future, I am probably not going to include all of the variations on each one of the outfits that you get from bosses, because you get one for every single boss cell difficulty you do, and all it is just me showing, hey, I fought the boss again. Not really as interesting as some of these individual enemies, where it's a little bit more questionable as to where you're going to find, say, the Death Orb. Because why would it be that guy that holds the Death Orb? Well, it is, so in case you're looking for that item, it's a pretty decent little survival skill, but it's not anything real essential. And Thornies, which I, for some reason, like, despite the fact they only appeared in they appear in the second area you go into if you're on 3-cell mode. I took an awful long time to get some of the items here. And I do think that is in some ways because a lot of the items that I'm getting at this point are the kind of less essential ones, really. All of the really important stuff that I wanted to get early on for the sake of grinding out cells or just setting up some good runs for the future, I've kind of already done. Flying bloodstains above the head of that catcher there. You want to point that out. Everything else here is just, I mean, it's some stuff that I might use pretty regularly, but it's not something that, oh yeah, I need that to do a run. Even though something like the spiked boots, which I'm about to get here, are pretty nice. It's just not nice enough to even make the trek into the second area to grab that blueprint. But for completion's sake, did it anyway. And then, oh yeah, another one which I have actually seen quite a few times going through each one of these areas, the Crusher. Because, I don't know, Crusher is good, and being a deployed item, it can set up some nice synergies. But more often than not, if I'm going to be taking something deployable for a survival run, try to get a wolf trap. I think that's just in general, not even only for damage over time. It also just does buff up regular attacks too. End that off with one really cool parry. Then into the lore section. First off, got something that actually has a little bit of resolution to one of the characters in the game. That guy that sent you on the quest to go get the teleport rune in the first place, hoisted by his own smiley face coffin, I guess. I mean, did you expect anything else to happen to the guy? Now, you can actually go back to, like, the bars that he's standing behind and still talk to him, even if that lore room is in the area. I don't know, maybe somebody else moved in there. They're like, hey, he stole some sort of teleport rune? Well, I'm going to give him the business if he comes around here. A little bit of a preview for the Conjunctivius fight. Doesn't really make any sense how that could flood up there, but I guess that's how she's moving around and eating zombies? I don't really know. Certainly attacking everybody that she possibly can. Very extensive sewer system after all. And yes, it's not just the alchemist that has been going around trying to do experiments. It seems like anybody that could set up anything has been trying to shove giant skeletons in bottles and just see if something happens. I mean, it didn't seem to help, but I suppose I can appreciate the attempt. People getting pretty desperate by the end there. Oh, come on now. That's just silly. More references, of course. As you do. As you do. Of course, the Alchemist still has plenty of places around here anyway. Like this kind of rare tower type of thing. I feel like I don't really see this one a whole lot, but you'll get some great Hollow Knight references out of it. The knight that was apparently one way larger than I expected him to be. I mean, in relation to like plants and everything you see in that game, he's about roughly the size of a bug, but, well, whatever. So, yeah, many options as to what spread the malaise around. Insects, rats. Well, okay, obviously rats could get infected, so probably that. Crows eating the carrion of the dead? Perhaps. And then finishing up here with a little bit more information on the unrest of the kingdom, and why, maybe trying to murder the king would be the first instinct of the main character here.